We know that envoy Steve entered that room, John. That's what that flurry of activity was. We're watching one by one some of these top advisors enter the room, which means the presidents are getting close, and we would expect questions to go to both leaders, Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump here. Ambassador Sullivan, what's the first question you would ask Vladimir Putin?
Well, he's already been asked some questions, and we saw them some earlier today. Are you willing to...
he pretended he didn't hear.
Exactly, he pretended he didn't hear. He understands English, and he heard.
He pretended he didn't hear. Isn't that a kind of suspicious fault?
Will you stop today?
I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. Want to see Putin? Show me the real deal. Wer wird ein Zuschauer? Willkommen zu meiner Sendung. Ich muss das Gelaber mit meinem Gelaber überlabern. Werbung. Kaufen Sie diese fantastischen, nutzlosen Produkte. Wenn Sie zu viel Geld haben, Sie könnten auch uns Ihr Geld schenken, aber nein, kaufen Sie dieses nutzlose Produkt. Mister, was geht hier vor sich? Freunde, das sieht doch aus wie so ein Greenscreen, oder sehe ich das falsch? Folks. Looks like this is a stage and there's in background a foreground green screen. Or look, isn't my eyes are getting bad? Maybe my eyes vision is like I'm become dementia sickness. Okay, let's look close to this location where we waiting for the two main actors, main world leaders. Yeah, John Dickerson, talk to me, yeah? I really like when you talk with me.
The American officials, can you see them? What's their posture?
Encourage, folks.
Yes, we
I know, jetzt verstehe ich, was Encourage ist.
Has entered the room. The Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, is here as well. The
Wann kommt denn jetzt endlich diese Pressekonferenz, liebe Freunde? Ich bin ja live. Das letzte Mal, wo ich, glaube ich, über Nacht eine TV-Sendung live verfolgt habe oder eine Übertragung. Das war zu Zeiten, wo Michael Jordan in der NBA gespielt hat, liebe Freunde. Das ist never ever. I was so excited to watch and hear an actor talking to us. Talk to me.
We've been told that we're in under 2 minutes, probably under a minute now before
this is, of course, we have to be.
The podium.
This is a really serious.
Secretary of State Rubio, who during his time in the Senate, John, you know this well,
Political.
Has been a longtime supporter of Ukraine, but is now fully behind the president's policy, and we have to hear what the specifics of it are. But he has been trying to reassure European allies that.
Folks, I was doing extra beauty cosmetic improvements to my face.
Previous American presidents.
I never did before. Yeah, even my girlfriend never. If I do,
strengthen their opposition to the Putin regime. So it'll be interesting now that he's got a handle of that brief himself.
What?
You'll be talking to him on
folks, it's annoying.
There's much to discuss.
How long I have to wait till the war crime lord Putin and the other
main weapons used by the United States, because we are not the United States.
The other guy I don't know.
At least a good part of the strength of the U.S. dollar and financial system to hurt Vladimir Putin in the pocketbook. But one of the results of that has also been that Vladimir Putin has grown a lot closer to Xi Jinping.
During this time, I play some nice handy games.
According to the Trump administration's worldview, and
because watch, stand up. Here he comes.
We see them now, Vladimir Putin and President Donald Trump taking the podiums.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, our negotiations have been held in a constructive atmosphere of mutual respect. We have very thorough negotiations that were quite useful. I would like to thank once again my American counterpart for the proposal
Talk to us.
that we've met here, because our countries, though separated by the oceans, are close neighbors.
Oh, he can't speak English? Are you kidding me? Even I can speak, and my English is very bad. If you compare with someone of his intelligence,
I think that is very neighborly.
as he's doing his whole life, the only thing he's doing is politics. Yeah, and he has to speak clearly and fluid English better than me. And it is known that he can speak German very well. So it makes no sense why he's not speaking in English.
Common history between Russia and the U.S. and many positive events have to do with that territory. Still, there is tremendous cultural heritage from Russian America.
I'm disappointed. This is not the real Putin. This is some kind of doppelganger.
Geographical names of Russian origin. During the Second World War, it was here in Alaska that was the origin of the legendary air bridge for the supply of military aircraft and other equipment under the Land-Lease program. It was a dangerous and treacherous route.
You're fooling me. You're fooling me. Never again.
However, the pilots
I want to see the real Putin and not this fake.
their lives, and they gave it all for the common victory.
It's ridiculous.
I was just in the city of Magadan in Russia, and there is a memorial there dedicated to the Russian and the U.S. pilots.
You're getting in rage modus.
The U.S. flag and
Volk.
the Russian flag. And I know that here as well there is such a memorial. There is a place several kilometers away from here. The Soviet pilots that buried there who died during that dangerous mission. We're thankful to the citizens and the government of the U.S. for carefully taking care of their memory. I think that's
Also, I get
always remember other historical
notification about my homeland broadcasting station is also. But I make my own broadcasting. Volk, so you can also pay me for my work, not give me your money, and not the other corporation. Incorporation that's working not for German people. So I'm so engaged with my work. Others sleeping, and I'm
amend the situation to move on from the confrontation to dialogue, and in this case, a personal meeting between the heads of state.
This is epicness. This is pure epicness.
Under the condition of serious and painstaking work, and this work has been done in general. Me and President Trump have very good direct contact. We've spoken multiple times. We spoke frankly on the phone.
Hey, what's he talking about frankly every time? You don't speak to him, you only speak to Franklin. And how much he mentions the other guy named Franklin.
One of the central issues was the situation around Ukraine. We see the strive of the
Pursuing peace is called the main parole.
And his strive to get to the crux of the matter, to understand this.
Pursuing peace. Peace for your money, folks, not for peace of the people, for the people, for the people's soul.
The Ukrainian nation, and I've said it multiple times, a brotherly nation, however strange it may sound in these
So
conditions.
I'm really pissed. I'm so pissed. Yeah, this is wasting time because if Putin don't talk English, so I'm disappointed.
At the same time, we're convinced that in order to make the settlement,
He even not watch to him when he's talking, like he's watching in front, like a dude who is was not interested in showing any emotions. Yeah, try to hide his emotions because no one is standing like him and watching in front, like you have to watch somewhere else. Sometimes you can watch this is also not naturally. Putin is reading from something he's not even. I think Putin is a genius in talking. Free talking is like not reading like he's talking someone a story, telling a story. So I don't understand why he's completely reading from paper or no notification he get.
The U.S. and Russian investment and business cooperation has tremendous potential. Russia and the U.S. can offer each other so much in trade, digital, high-tech, and in space exploration.
Oh, come on. Who cares about space exploration? This is wasted money. If we want to live in freedom and we want...
Overall, it's very important for our countries to turn the page, to go back to cooperation. It is symbolic that not far away from here, the border between Russia and the US.
But this looks like another Putin, not the same Putin they show up with when they...
I think you can step over literally from yesterday into tomorrow. And I hope that we'll succeed in that, in political sphere. I would like to thank President Trump for our joint work, for the well-wishing and trustworthy tone of our conversation. It's important that both sides are result-oriented, and we see that the President of the U.S. has a very clear idea of what he would like to achieve. He sincerely cares about the prosperity of his nation.
What?
Still, he understands that Russia has its own national interests. I expect that today's agreements will be the starting
Voice of translator. Why is the translator a woman anyway?
But also will help us bring back
that makes also no sense.
relations between Russia and the US.
I would refuse to talk if I knew a female is translating my what I'm saying.
Last contact with the previous administration, I tried
This is ridiculous.
my previous American colleague that the situation should not be brought to...
Also, I tell you, I watching the whole interview with Tucker Carlson, and that was something complete different. A complete different person, complete different character. Like he is not. You can say he shows his character because he's not talking to anyone. He's reading from paper and. So at least if he's talking to someone, so it's a complete different situation. You can analyze a character from a person.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President.
Also watch there are also the space between the two guys. Also they are a big space.
There were many points that we agreed on, most of them I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite got there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up...
What is that for bullshit talking? There's no deal without a deal?
Various people that I think are appropriate, and I'll of course call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up to them. They're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from the Trump administration who have come here, Scott and John Radcliffe, thank you very much. But we have some of our really great leaders have been doing a phenomenal job. We also have some tremendous Russian business representatives here, and I think everybody wants to deal with us. We've become the hottest country anywhere in the world in a very short period of time, and we look forward to that. We look forward to dealing. We're going to try and get this over with. We really made some great progress today. I've always had a fantastic relationship with President Putin, with Vladimir. We had many tough meetings, good meetings. We were interfered with by the Russia hoff.
But he's not talking, it took so long. And then the only thing he can say is he repeating something in the past happens, also back.
What was done was very criminal, but it made it harder for us to deal as a country in terms of the business and all of the things that we'd like to have done.
I'm so disappointed. I'm so deep disappointed. I could cry. Yeah. I could cry because my feeling is that nothing changes. There's nothing changed at all. Yeah, this is like people know there was a meeting, the summit, it happens, and the end of the day is like nothing happens, nothing changes.
Whose faces, who I know in many cases, otherwise, other than that, whose faces I get to see all the time in the newspapers. You're almost as famous as the boss, but especially this one right over here. But we had some good meetings over the years, right? Good productive meetings over the years, and we hope to have that in the future. But let's do the most productive one right now. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I can see it possibly happening. Thank you very much, Vladimir. And thank you all. Thank you.
This is all? Are you kidding me? Next time in Moscow. This is not Vladimir Putin.
Concludes the press conference with President Trump and President Putin, in which they took no questions from the press.
What should I say?
Statements that was not according to plan. Vladimir Putin spoke first. He talked about nascent progress. He talked about turning the page with the United States, at times getting almost elegiac as he talked about the international dateline and stepping from yesterday to tomorrow.
That's the whole magic show.
He gave nothing away in terms of any progress that might have been made on the key questions.
It's like a chicken shit.
Fantastic relationship with President Putin. Thank you very much, Vladimir. He basically ended his remarks by saying he said there had been progress, but he wouldn't say on what. And he did say that there is one very significant
I'm not the expert in analyzing, but every other person, also people who doing this,
on that one question that remains outstanding, he said it's very big.
And they were also disappointed.
We heard nothing about that, John.
Yeah, but imagine if you're waiting for this, and you need this media coverage. You need media coverage to do your work, and they barely say anything. So you can't work with Nothing. This is impossible. And I think this was the purpose was, of course, not to say too much. You can see, Trump was talking like, I know Vladimir, and okay, it's my best friend, so something like talk about a good buddy. Yeah, but they were if people go and watch a fight, box fight, they want to see some, of course, rhetorical.
All the intelligence officials were wrong.
One of the many
there's no rhetorical.
Nancy, you didn't get a question, but then again, nobody
if you,
else did.
I again lost the translation here. Rhetorical fight, something like that. Also, if you try to beat someone in saying things like, I'm smarter guy and try to talk smart, also talk smart and give you and to beat someone. This is, in my opinion, this is the most important part in politics, is being talking smart and also calm down, also not too much anger in the. And it's like a good chess player. You need to interact. Yeah, there was also the interaction was like there was no interaction. The only interaction you see was Putin was saying goodbye. Maybe next time we see us or we meeting in Moscow. This is the only interaction. So I'm really disappointed. Let's see. I think nothing will change. The war in Ukraine will continue. And also continue. People dying will continue, and Europe will pay for this. Will continue. The stupid German taxpayer will continue to pay, and also no, I have no clue what's the purpose of this. I don't want to be like I'm the bad guy who is trying to destroy the whole game and expose everything, but other people who have less time than me to analyze. I think this is a good help when I say this is a hoax. Yeah, this is a Trump speech would call it a hoax meeting. Yeah, a hoax summit. Thank you CBS for bringing me to deliver this.
Now we don't know because they didn't tell us.
But I'm very disappointed.
That will be negotiated later today by the military.
I think I will never watch the show again. This is like I could watch a porn movie. This would be more excited than this. Of course, it's not movies. I will.
The experts in the room idea is, as Ambassador Sullivan was
I
describing,
would suggest you to watch.
Sitting next to Vladimir Putin have been doing this a really long time. The two men standing next to Donald Trump.
For 25 minutes wasting of my life.
And they have held information.
And I think the most important thing is if at least I can. I have footage from my channel and upload this. No, and you can have fun with this. And
the United States has built up over
and also comment what do you think about us German people should comment this, but I think there are a lot of people from my audience are really smart people. They knew it better. Yeah, they knew it better. I'm only someone who is I'm only the messenger. I'm a messenger. I'm not some kind of messias. Yeah, of Jesus, like Jesus Christ.
January 20th of this year. It's now the middle of August.
Yeah, let's watch what happened. So this is the whole meeting. Maybe they will show up and eat some ice. Yeah, a romantic dinner in a noble hotel from Donald Trump. A motel, a restaurant. We're eating, I don't know, kind of octopus, grilled octopus. Medium steak, a bloody medium steak. Not an iceberg salad.
And I don't know the answer to this.
Yeah, because we have iceberg salad in.
You can imagine a range of possibilities. One
a special
is,
offer.
As the president said, no, there isn't a deal until there's a
special
deal.
offer, 59-cent iceberg salad, folks. It's called a special vegetable food.
But they made progress.
Vegetable food you can eat and you can puke like a cat. Maybe if you have a pet, is a kind of pet, eats salad. Yeah, also George Lucas eats, really like to eat salad. But folks, they're eating really good salad. Not a salad like, I can't afford a better salad than only an iceberg salad with oil additive.
First of all, what's your interpretation of
motor oil additive.
But also, they were worried that they'd come out with an agreement.
Okay, I have to stop talking because it becomes nonsense. Yeah, and I'm really sad.
So the downside, the major downside.
Disappointed and sad, and I don't know what to do.
He would know in the first few minutes whether President Putin was serious about peace. The fact that they met for 2.5, maybe 3 hours, and now have this press conference, is that an indication that President?
Today I have watched during my short walk outside. It was very hot. So I can tell you this story. It's more excited. And I see some ants. And ants are insects, really small insects. And watching the ants, they have transports eggs. Eggs in this was the egg transportation from one nest to another nest. And I watched this massive ants.
And we know that was a ceasefire. So we heard
was really excited. Also, some ants want to. I think that was soldier ants who want to kill me. They try to spit on me with special. It's called special weapon they have is toxic spitting.
Which is something that President Trump did not seem to recognize on the campaign trail.
Toxic spitting.
When he said he could end this war quickly, and I agree hardly with
Ambassador. This is a really good story compared to this whole whatever.
But it wasn't a nothing burger when it comes to Vladimir Putin's objectives more broadly. Vladimir Putin got the red carpet.
Yeah, and I'm really disappointed. No. Okay, folks, thanks for watching this episode. I think that what's happened here.
We heard nothing about additional secondary tariffs, for example, on China, the largest.
Why is he talking constantly? I want to hear him talking and not her.
I continued the stalling game that he's been playing for months, in which.
Folks, this is distracting. Yeah, if you watch a kind of show where two politicians in the summit have a meeting, you want to hear the politicians talking and not your.
In Ukraine and this war of attrition, which Putin is very willing to continue fighting, is ongoing. We heard nothing about any kind of stall in fighting whatsoever. So I do think Vladimir Putin is walking away from this summit.
He's walking away like nothing happens. Right.
One of the things Vladimir Putin said in his remarks that were translated was, I hope the Europeans will torpedo our nascent progress. And he talked about Russia as if it were the victim here.
Give me a riddle.
Launched that full-scale invasion in 2022, and as if it didn't start the invasion back in 2014. As to your point there, Sam, as you're talking about shaping narrative, and
I think if you
as if he's achieved
they're walking.
Those those assertions by him were
I am walking.
challenged by President Trump.
I am
And
walking.
comes to mind, of course, the instance in which President Trump did challenge assertions when Volodymyr Zelensky was in the office. He suggested, from hard-won experience, that Vladimir Putin couldn't be trusted. A position that President Trump never came to, publicly expressing his disappointment with President Putin for having constantly told him or appeared to be moving towards a peace and then increasing the bombing. But there was
This is a kind of joke.
From our business in the meeting with Zelensky, nothing of that today.
And there was immediate consequence. There was that shut-off for a brief period.
This was like some power demonstration.
Military aid for Volodymyr Zelensky. We have not heard consequence here. There is, over in the Capitol, a sanctions bill teed up, ready to go as soon as President Trump says go.
Also my opinion is CBS get a lot of money paid from what else. Also, and of course, people, many millions of people watching this, also on YouTube. A lot of people and
the weight of law behind it.
make a lot of money.
Would hit China, someone President Trump's trying to negotiate with. It would do other things that
No,
hurt Russia. There are tools.
What are we doing here? Anyway,
Let's bring in senior foreign correspondent.
I will go back home.
How do you think Volodymyr Zelensky is receiving what we just watched and/or other European leaders?
Well, interestingly, John, there's been no word from President Zelensky.
Her at least talking. Her
from President Trump to hear exactly what it is that they discussed, and he said, interestingly, in his remarks, that he was going to take this to the European leaders and to Zelensky to see.
Thank you, Barbara.
Ultimately,
Barbara.
to them to decide.
Barbara, Deborah, folks, almost right.
He reminded the world,
But Barbara is not far away from Deborah.
as far as Ukraine is concerned, that this war continues. That there were strikes today in Sumy, he said, in Dnipro, in Zaporizhia, and also in Kherson.
done.
The war has not stopped. He reminded everyone that Ukraine is ready to work productively to end the war, but that they are counting on a strong position from America.
Also I read in the Financial Times something completely different. No?
America. The Russians factor
That
American strength, he said, make no mistake.
Germany is ready for battle. Yeah, or I don't know what this mean should.
Discussion, and that Russia must end the war. That is a constant refrain that you hear from Ukraine, and nothing has really changed there. And I think that President Zelensky will think that this is probably what he expected. They didn't have very high hopes for this. They've been dealing with President Putin for
Barbara, I mean Deborah, this is not that I want to hear.
And this is something that
I want to hear something completely different.
There would be a ceasefire announced.
In a direction I can work with something like,
Thank you.
give me a point.
What's your sense of
when the war will stop. So,
how they would have read it.
I've been reaching out to many of them, and so far they have not yet heard from the president. He said he was going to call some European leaders as well as Volodymyr Zelensky. They don't yet know. We may hear in the next few hours their take. Perhaps there was something in the room that was not shared with us.
Goodbye.
We know
To Volksheim.
put together, remember that minerals agreement?
I would say goodbye for this last time.
Rich territory is in
This time.
So this interest in carving it up, or this
See,
interest
for
as to
real,
who the
yeah.
Treasury Secretary was in
Because
the
I'm
room,
done with
we
this
don't
show.
know a lot of that detail,
Right.
just yet.
And to remind viewers, we don't know any detail about anything. There is
Oh, come on, stop lying, Mr. Dickerson.
pleasantries and polite
Stop
remarks between
lying.
the two leaders, but there was absolutely no detail about any of the key questions for which the two men came to Alaska and brought all of their senior advisors.
This is like they know the people are angry. Yeah, the people are in anger because it was complete without any purpose.
Nancy, one thing that struck me, and I wonder if it did you too, is Vladimir Putin said that he agreed with Donald Trump. He said that, if he were in office, there would be no war in Ukraine. An extraordinary statement, but also one that was well received by the president.
But he's also watching complete clueless.
Absolutely. I mean, how many times have we heard President Trump say over the past 6 months, if I were president, this war never would have started? He says it every single time he talks to the White House press corps.
Also, they are lying. Yeah, at least they have more information than I. Yeah, they must have more information than me, or they are better informed. So they can say at least this is a real simple logic. Yeah, if you talk about something, you need to know where the conversation can go. Yeah, so you can at least doing some intervention, like also asking the right question.
And so to hear it echoed by Putin himself today.
This is a lie. They have information and they know more than they can say us. Yeah, they not. It's like a showcase and not a real political summit, where two high authority persons, high political leaders of also world power.
Be the kind of thing that the Russians know might be music to President Trump's ears. And it's exactly the kind of thing that the Ukrainians were concerned about. They were worried.
The Ukrainians are concerned about. Yeah, in my last show I mentioned a German politician who is there in a high position for an energy plant. Yeah. Who get paid a lot of money being there, and he's doing nothing. It's like the chairman. So this, I give you one example. Yeah, you can see what's going on there in the Ukraine. Yeah, so there is also money. The only interest is money, and
President Trump, over the past couple of months, has been moving more and more to their position. He's gotten tougher on Putin. He's grown frustrated with the fact that he has wanted to come to the table to discuss a ceasefire. The Ukrainians are all in for a ceasefire, and Russia has been bulking. And so they said point blank over the past couple of days, we think he's going to go and flatter Donald Trump. He's going to try to bring Trump back to his side, and we just hope that President Trump doesn't fall for it. Now, it remains to be seen whether there were any concrete agreements that were made here that might indicate that a ceasefire...
Concrete agreements. Of course not concrete. It looks like something less harder than concrete.
Closer than it was before. We simply don't know. But certainly Putin's strategy here, while he was speaking, was to say the things that President Trump himself likes to hear.
So really, are you kidding me? I explain you. Yeah, it's like so invite a good friend to you on your house, and let's do a little small talk, and then okay, goodbye. Yeah, have a good journey or something like that.
And Nancy,
the next time we see us in Moscow.
Too far, but we usually hear President Trump in evaluating events that taken place, even ones that we've witnessed at the same time with him, in extraordinary terms of success and greatness. And in this, by that measurement,
of course, yeah, he has to, or he have to top off this whole event. Is like, he's extraordinary greatness and our best country in the world, and what else?
This seemed to be, would you say, muted with respect to the way President Trump characterized the meeting that he'd just taken part in?
Muted, vague, and perplexing. He said that they had made progress in a number of important areas, one area in particular that's very important, but he didn't give any more insight into what that area would be. And certainly if he felt that they were very close to a ceasefire, he would just come out and say that. Now, he did say that he wants to talk to his European counterparts, which is something that he promised to do right after this summit.
He wasn't speaking about any ceasefire anyway. Yeah, this is like, it's nonsense to talk about, because there was not talking the main subject, or they're not talking about the main points of we're setting on the schedule plan.
Very emphatic that they didn't want him negotiating on Ukraine's behalf. They wanted that to wait until Ukraine could be part of a second summit. And so the fact that he said he wanted to fill in his European counterparts before talking to the press, perhaps that is a good sign.
What is that? Is this kind of signature move from him, or what? Or I don't know. That's a kind of religious symbolic, or showing up in the heaven, or I don't know.
He is respecting their wishes, but again, we just...
at least he show up with his hand sign here, salute to the military, or the military folks.
We simply don't know, John. And you're right. President Trump is not the type of person to shy away from crowing about a big success, or even a big perceived success, if he thinks he has buttoned one up.
We may know, we will learn, of course, in the hours, minutes, days, about what's really going on, where things are. As both men leave Anchorage, or when they do, Vladimir Putin leaves with something that he's been given from the minute he landed until now that no other nation could give him. The prestige of standing as an equal with the President of the United States.
Standing as an equal, getting a far more effusive and warm welcome than we have seen President Trump give to any world leader in the second administration. Now,
this is like, imagine you have a date with a nice girl, and you have really, really big dreams. Are you, or hopes, no? Yeah, and that hopes or the dreams are shattered in, like, you completely
is that strategic?
complete shattered, and you have this, like, completely emptiness. Yeah.
Does that soften him up for the deal that we don't yet know about?
They are constantly repeating. They don't know about anything, or they don't. It's for me. It's not plausible or not logical. That they're repeating constantly that that's not their fault. Yeah,
that he so desires. One of the things that I thought was interesting is, in order to prep himself ahead of this meeting on the plane ride.
I think they work together with the world best intelligence agency, and they know more than they are allowed to say us. As not.
Here, President Trump turned to.
I've read books, and there were more information in the whole show. Here, also today in this coverage, I learned nothing.
Vladimir Putin's closest friends, to the degree he has them, and that is another dictator from Belarus, the place where Russian troops staged before they invade Ukraine, praising him as a great leader, someone who is a massive human rights abuser and under U.S. sanctions. So he was thanking the person who his back channel set up this meeting, praising him.
What's that point? What's the purpose of shouting, hello?
What kind of preparation went in?
What could you make this could be a good meme? Yeah, like I want to say something, but better not.
for him in that room today. For the foreign policy experts out there, they did breathe a sigh of relief to see that the Secretary of State was.
I give you a hint, or give you a. It's about pardon someone. Yeah, so pardon is a word with really, yeah.
More sort of strong in his language and support of Ukraine, was there by his side. He is the one who's been coordinating with the Europeans. There was the strategy of bringing in these military officers, including the Supreme Allied Commander, and I've said that a few times now, but that is a powerful statement because NATO sees Russia as the prime threat for all of Europe right now.
Thank you for saying the truth. Russia is a really big threat to Europe. Finally, they said something I can work with. Applaud.
Now, and so you have people who are very clear as to what Vladimir Putin has done there with the president.
So this is like they are laughing about us. Yeah, because I'm from Europe, and for me it was more important to get some information I can work with. And that explains why I'm so disappointed.
But he was not clear in his remarks in the way that they would have been. And so we will continue reporting on this, as you can imagine, in the coming days.
Former Russian ambassador to Russia, Sullivan, your final thoughts on
Also, if I were a really bad guy, I would think about that whole staged thing.
Well, if this is all there is, if there's nothing else that it's either been agreed to...
Also, I'm not the evil guy, yeah, but if I'm laughing, folks, it means something.
Or further meetings.
Also, it means more than...
Got the benefit of the red carpet treatment, but he's tapped the President Trump along again, to use President Trump's expression. How is President Trump now going to, without a ceasefire, he was threatening to impose massive sanctions. After this press conference, how can the president go back to that? It's very difficult to see that happening. I think this is just part of a delay strategy by Putin to keep the war going.
Where's my teddy bear? I will have to go to sleep with my teddy bear.
President Trump and Russian President Putin gave a short press conference and took no questions, so it wasn't really a press conference. They met for about 3 hours earlier today, just moments ago. Both President Trump and Putin called today's summit productive, but we did not hear anything concrete that came out of the talks. President Trump said...
Is he also repeating? Hasn't concrete anything, concrete. Nothing concrete.
He will call Ukrainian President Zelensky to report on the meeting. Our coverage continues on CBS News 24.
This reminds me of I'm Catholic, a Romanian Catholic confession or religious. I belong to this, no, and if I have to go to church. Yeah, it's like so as a child, have to be patient till the church event is finally finished or ended. Yeah, it's like he's acting like waiting till this magic point and then shaking his hand. So so everybody could see I do it.
4/7. And for those of you in the West, there will be more on the CBS Evening News. This has been the CBS News Special Report. I'm John Dickerson with Margaret Brennan in Anchorage, Alaska.
Yeah, what is another expression for if someone is completely has a lack of self-confidence? Lack of self-confidence because he's the wrong guy. Yeah, in the wrong place. Yeah, also he's Putin, supposed to be to play Putin, but could be anyone else. folks, it was for today's episode. Sinners. Yeah, last time I say goodbye. I hope so. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the show, and yeah. I'm sad, and now I have to go to bed and cry a little. Crying a river. Goodbye.